What's up, everybody? It's Dansu here with more Stormbound. It's definitely been a while. I just want you guys to know that I'm still playing the game. I haven't had time to make a lot of content, but I'm still playing, still collecting the rank rewards. The game overall hasn't changed that much since I last checked in, so I'm still playing Winter. Today, I'm going to open a couple of these mythic books, and then I'm going to ladder a little bit and talk about the new patch. So let's give it a go. Gift of the Wise. Beast of Terror. I need more of those. Lich Summoners, not bad. Siren. I'm hoping to pull some Ubuses here. If I can pull two of them, then I can actually upgrade him to level 5 with all of my fusion stones, which is definitely worth it because at this point his level 5 version is just insanely good. Giovanna, okay. So actually, even though the Mythic book says it's a 30% chance of getting a legendary card, because you're guaranteed to get one legendary card, the actual probability of getting a legendary in the other three cards is actually quite a bit lower. Oh, but okay, just a three legendary pack right there. That's pretty good. Even though all three of those legendaries are mediocre, I'd say. Queen of Hearts is actually nice. I want to play around with the version that pulls two different cards out of your deck, but don't ever upgraded that much yet. Dr. Mia. Okay. Rain of Frogs. Restless Goats. If I can get Restless Goats to level 5, I might play some Swarm. Okay, there's the card we want to see. Avian Stalkers. Soul Crushers. I'm hoping to get a lot more Soul Crushers. Oh, shoot. We got an epic with Fusion Stones. Okay. That's amazing. How many Fusion Stones do we have now? 200. Oh, we're one Fusion Stone away from from being able to build Ubis. That's awesome. All right, another Soul Crushers. Awesome. Ludic Matriarchs, Rain of Frogs, Siren of the Seas. So this is actually the first time I've spent money on the game in quite a while. And because I haven't been spending that much money, I haven't really played around with a lot of the new possibilities. With the upcoming patch, I definitely want to try out playing some Shadowfen. So the Rain of Frogs is nice. Oh, Toad is nice too, because I'm gonna need some Toads. Oh yes, and another. Okay, this is honestly the real prize. Okay, we got 50 left. Why don't we open a heroic book just for the hell of it? Dark Harvest, Marked Prey, Lucky Charmers, Windmakers, Emerald. Another Rain of Frogs. I can't count how many Rain of Frogs I pulled today. Oh wow. Okay. So we pulled the last Ubis out of out of a heroic book. Today's really our lucky day. So you guys are gonna get to witness me upgrading Ubis right here. It's gonna cost us 240 fusion stones, but the overall strength increased is at minimum a guaranteed of +3, and per each extra unit type on the board, it just gets insane. So there we have it. I'm officially another pay to win, joining the ranks of level 5 Ubis. But it's a good deck, so let's go ladder. Alright, going up against Blue Phoenix. So if you guys have seen my last couple videos, the strategy of this deck is pretty clear by now. It's pretty much we try to gain as much board presence as possible by wiping them with Blade Storm, Needle Blast, and Archdruid Aaron, and then also trying to sneak in for damage with First Mutineer and Warfront Runners. Okay, so we're gonna hope that we don't discard anything important here. Okay, that's okay. Um, as long as we have Gift of the Wise on our 5 mana turn, our our game is pretty secure because we can we can play Ubis the Hunter and one extra card. And with Ubis newly upgraded, this is actually an insanely valuable play. We'll probably have a 7 mana turn where we use Archdruid Aaron instead of a 5 mana turn. But this is also okay. Oh shoot. Alright, that was unlucky. I figured that we would hit at least one shot on green prototypes or at least one shot on green prototypes or his Westwind Sailors, but unfortunately it looks like our Ubis is gonna trade evenly with green prototypes. Yeah, he even got lucky there, so he straight up just got a 5 strength green prototypes off. Hmm. So the best play here is probably just to take some less damage. All right, let's talk about the new patch. So the devs said that it's possible that they'll reconsider some changes, but as of now, what they're doing is they're nerfing a couple of the pirate neutrals, and then overall they buffed the Shadowfen cards, and they also buffed the Winter Pact cards, which I feel is like a pretty strange decision because at high ranks at least, the Winter cards are pretty dominant right now. I'd say that although Swarm is always being played, especially because it's easier to play Swarm if you have less upgraded cards, Winter has overall been very, very dominant. So it makes sense that they're gonna buff Shadowfen. I think that Shadowfen is pretty underrated right now. I went against a couple decks that were pretty much maxed out level 5 running Shadowfen, and they were actually pretty dangerous. So I think they have some potential. All right, so over here we're just gonna land the 7 mana Archdruid, like I said. Um, so let's go over the changes. So first of all, they nerfed Northsea Dog. They increased the mana, strength, and ability by one. Um, I'd say this is overall a nerf because 1 mana cards are just insanely good. But the change that it is at now, I'd say overall benefits. For example, Winter. I think because Winter with Gift of the Wise has always been able to play North Sea Dog. It's just that late game, North Sea Dog becomes a lot worse of an option because regardless of the strength, it's still a 1 mana card that has no movement. So it doesn't really do much for you late game, and buffing its mana by one and its strength by one kind of makes you feel a little less bad when you play it late game. So I think North Sea Dog is a nerf to Swarm and a buff to Winter. All right, so over here, let's chuck that. All right, that's what I was hoping to see. So this is going to be at least 3 damage to his face. The increase in power from level 4 to level 5 Ubis is just insane. I wish that they had buffed level 4 version of it a little bit more because that's the version that I had. But now that I upgraded to level 5 Ubis, I embrace his power. Yeah, so that's North Sea Dog, and then the other change that I heard that they were gonna do is a nerf to First Mutineer. Although I'm looking at the page now and it looks like they aren't changing First Mutineer. So I thought they were decreasing its strength by one, but I think the devs may have taken that out. Um, so this game is pretty much done. It looks like we eventually just overwhelmed him with higher higher strength cards. All right, going up against Kendo Man 13. Looks like we already have a Gift of the Wise, so it's not going to be that hard of a game. So I cycled first just in case I'd get green prototypes and some of the militia, which luckily we did. Otherwise, sometimes I like to draw with freebooters first and then choose which card to cycle because it does give you a little bit more freedom when it draws you an extra card. So, back to the patch. So it looks like only North Sea Dog is being nerfed as a neutral, but there's also two other neutrals that are being buffed, which are Flooding the Gates and Confinement. I think the buff to Flooding the Gates, decreasing the mana by one, makes the card better, but unfortunately, the card itself isn't that good to begin with, just because it only hits units in one line, so it makes the card super super situational. Like a similar card that I would compare it to is Bladestorm, in that Bladestorm is unreliable to clear the board just because it deals 2 to 5 damage. And so it's kind of like you're using a card to wipe the opponent's board, except it's not that reliable in wiping it. And but the difference is that Bladestorm can hit low strength units that are really far away, whereas no matter what, Flooding the Gates can only hit things right outside your base. So it makes the card very situational. Oops. So over here we're gonna make the dream play, which is a turn 5 mana Archdruid Aaron. Oh, and it looks like we pulled Needle Blast, which means that we guarantee that we wipe the board here. So yeah, I think Flooding the Gates still gonna be a pretty irrelevant card. If the enemy's units are outside your base, chances are you're in trouble, and committing even 5 mana to that is too much right now. Flood of the Gates is one of those cards that I feel like the design of it makes it a little bit just difficult to use. Like Curse of Strings is similar. The devs are decreasing its mana by one again, so its mana cost is now going to be 7 from 8, and a while back it used to be 9. Oh, okay. This is too lucky here. I think I'm gonna play Ubis first and then get in for 3 damage, or get in for 6 damage here. And now we just cycle hard for Needle Blast. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this deck is very dangerous. The biggest thing that was holding back Archdruid with this set of spells is Swarm, and nowadays Swarm is becoming a lot less popular because so many people are playing slower decks. So this deck overall just wrecks every single other deck that I've seen. So yeah, that rounds up this game. Okay, going up against Hiking Viking. Haven't seen him in a while. So over here, I'm gonna throw away First Mutineer because I'm not gonna play him next turn. I'm definitely gonna draw one of the cards that I want to play on my 5 mana turn. So okay, so those were all the neutrals that I covered. Next are the winter cards. So Frost Hexers, I forgot to talk about Confinement. So Confinement is now reducing the enemy strength to 1 additional strength at lower levels, which I think is a really good change because honestly, the level 5 Confinement was almost a different card from the levels 1 through 4 in just how strong it was. And I think that the way that it scaled was a little poor because you either had to commit to upgrading all the way to level 5 or just not use Confinement at all. This way, it'll encourage people to use Confinement at lower levels and kind of like bring it into the meta a little bit more. Okay, this is interesting. Um, so over here, I'm actually gonna cycle Bladestorm because Needle Blast wipes everything but Fort, and I don't really care about Fort. So I'm gonna hope to get the 2 mana summon Militia. Oh, and which we did. So it's always worth. I figured the expected value of doing it this way is a little higher. And if I could have redone the placement, I would have put Archroad a little more left, just so that he would have to immediately defend against it. I chose this position because this way I kind of guarantee that he's not going to hit it for more than 4 damage. But um, I think putting it in one of the middle 2 columns would have been better. So um, confinement, I think the change I fully support it. I don't really use confinement. I've seen a couple confinements be pretty good, but overall, I'm not such a fan of the card. But I think diversity is nice. So next is Frost Hexers, and now it freezes all bordering units from levels 1 to 3 and all surrounding at levels 4 and 5. I think this is a good change. I'm happy about it. I haven't upgraded my Frost Hexers yet, so um, if this change helps me a lot. Just gonna pump out some fat Ubis over here. Um, so yeah, I think the Frost Texas change is nice. Freeze Winter obviously is dominant enough as it is, but personally, like the Winter deck that I'm playing, I think is very good against Freeze Winter. I think that Freeze Winter is very annoying, but it comes short in a lot of aspects. Like it's hard to get off the combos. So making Frost Hexers a little more accessible to lower level players might make Freeze Winter like overall a lot more popular. I don't know, but personally, in for example, in this deck, I would love to run Frost Hexers, but I don't because it freezes all bordering, which isn't nearly as strong. So it's a good change. Next, Chillbeards, they decrease the mana by 1. I think that Chillbeards is a pretty good option, honestly. That's a little underrated just because high mana cards aren't that popular, but I used to run Ulf the Hammer and Siren of the Seas, and I think Chillbeards I've always considered on the fringe of running over one of the two of them. So it's not a bad finisher. It's the strongest. It's the highest strength movement card that there is in the game. So it's definitely something that after decreasing the mana by 1, I think you might see like 1 or 2 people run it. But the mana cost is very high. So all right, Kendo Man 1/3. So after Chillbeards is Frozen Core, which is the mana giving structure for Winter, and they're increasing the strength at higher levels. I think this is a good change. Frozen Core is one of the weaker structures, I'd say, because um, the reward that you get for setting it up isn't immediate. You have to actually be able to spend the mana. And when you're already playing Frozen Core in your deck and you're playing Gift of the Wise, it's usually hard to use that mana efficiently. Like getting a Frozen Core out on your 5 mana turn is usually not very strong, whereas being able to get out like a Siege Assembly if you can protect it is very strong. So after that is the Hearth, which they're decreasing the mana by 1, and I think this is actually going to be insane. I think the Hearth, if you can get it out and protect it, it's always been one of the stronger structures. It's very intimidating to go against. And okay, so I was thinking of cycling this instead on the off chance I got Aaron, but then I figured that really the only benefit that gives is dealing that 1 extra damage to gifted recruits. So I thought I'd go for a more conservative play, but we got lucky. So we kind of hedged your bets there. But I think the Hearth is going to be very strong. For 3 mana, I think any structure is decently strong. I think that Siege Assembly or not Siege, the 3 mana Ironclad structure is already not bad, but the Hearth is essentially it can give any unit strength. So as long as you have any fort or any unit on the field, it's gonna buff it. That's actually really strong. Okay, pretty dominant play over here by him. Um, Inflicted. Alright, we're gonna have to cycle back into Bladestorm fast. I think we're gonna get swarmed. Um, so that's the Hearth. I definitely want to play around with it. I think it's gonna be a very good card. Uh, with I don't know if Swarm is gonna come back after these changes to be dominant, but if it isn't, then as far as slow game plans go, the Hearth is very very good. Uh, this deck that I'm playing right now is in general pretty strong against structure decks because it has Bladestorm and Needle Blast, but against most decks um, it would be very scary. Okay, let's see. Kind of screwed over here. Yeah, okay, he definitely has the upper hand, but we do have Bladestorm, so even if he manages to fill up our whole front line, we can at least do something. Oh, okay, but yeah, that's not looking good for us. So I'm gonna cycle Warfront Runners and hope to pull Gift of the Wise. If we don't pull Gift, we pretty much lost. Okay, interesting choice. He he hasn't seen our Bladestorm yet, but I feel like he has to assume that we have it. Okay, so we did exactly what I was hoping for. Let's get a high roll with this, or not. Let's kill both of those units. Haha, okay. So that's why when I play my Warfront Runners, I usually go for base damage instead. Because nothing is ever guaranteed unless you actually hit their base. Um, if for example he had one unit, then maybe playing Warfront Runners for board control is better. But with three units, he knows I have Needle Blast. He has to play around complete board wipes. Okay, very very dangerous territory right now. Um, okay. I put Archer here because this way, no matter where they advance their front line from, they're gonna have to run into my Archdruid first. So hopefully we have a little bit of time before, or so hopefully this can help prevent him from just running a Warfront Runners into our base. If he has Warfront and First Mutineer, then we're screwed. But I don't, I don't know if he has that. Yeah, okay, he doesn't. Oh Jesus, not another Ubis. Heroic. Okay, we're gonna hope to draw Warfront Runners because then we win. Ah, that doesn't really help me. Huh. Okay. And we low rolled. Oh, oh my goodness. All right. We almost definitely lost over here. Ubis wins. Um, Warfront wins. But if he doesn't blow us out this turn, then we have. Hmm. Okay. This is probably an Ubis victory. Okay, come on. Blue Sail, that's a new one. Okay. That was a well constructed deck. I liked it. Which brings me to the new Gift of the Wise. Actually, I think that the new Gift of the Wise is at first glance it looks like a nerf, but I think it's actually a really really big buff. If you guys remember the original Gift of the Wise was costed 0 mana, and at level 5 it gave 3 extra mana and drew 2 cards, which is incredibly busted. At the Gift of the Wise now, it gives um, at level 4 it costs 5 mana, or the new one that's gonna be the new one that's gonna show up. It costs 5 mana, and it gives 7 mana and draws 1 card at level 4. And at level 5 it costs 4 mana, and it gives 6 mana and draws 1 card. So overall, it's plus 2 mana and draws 1 card, which I think is really, really, really good for the deck that I'm playing, at least Archdruid Aaron. I'll say two things. One is at higher or later on in the game when you play Gift of the Wise to give you mana. Honestly, it doesn't help you that much if you can't use all of the mana. So being able to draw cards is really, really good. It's the reason why you almost always play freebooters with Gift of the Wise. And now that Gift of the Wise draws cards by itself, it's going to be even better. And especially for my own deck, which at level, when you have 5 mana and you play Gift of the Wise, you really only want 7 mana. So having like 1 or 2 extra mana after that doesn't help you as much as drawing that extra 1 card, because that way you might be able to draw into Needle Blast. You might be able to draw into Blade Storm, which is really, really good. And so I think this new Gift of the Wise change is, if Winter wasn't the best deck yet, this is definitely going to make it the best deck. I think this new Gift of the Wise is absolutely bananas. Um, in fact, now I probably won't even upgrade it from level 4 to level 5, because it costs 1 less mana to play, and it also gives you 1 less mana overall. And since Archdruid actually plays your card for free, it doesn't really affect it. And even though at 4 mana, it means that you can play it on your second turn. For me, the most important thing is playing it to get 7 mana total. So I might honestly just leave it at level 4. Probably shouldn't have cycled Ubis there. That was a poor choice. Okay, this was a mistake in sequencing, I think. Oh no, but we're going up against the CPU. Okay, whatever. Guess this is gonna be an easy game. So yeah, I think Gift of the Wise is gonna be it's gonna be a better card than the devs thought it was gonna be. I think, unless their goal was to make it better, in which case, um, I'm fine with it. But I know a lot of people are pretty unhappy with the way Winter is looking. Like look at this play, 7 mana for Needle Blast and Ubis the Hunter, and the opponent is essentially nearly dead from 20 HP all the way down to 4. That's 16 damage on my 7 mana turn. Oh well, I guess fast CPU game.